saw the Fab Four back together. The royals out again in central London for the National Remembrance service.
Britain's royal Fab Four were reunited.
This week, William and Kate and Harry and Meghan honour Great Britain's fallen heroes. The Queen gets back in the saddle. And musician Maxi remembers meeting Princess Diana.
She's a very soft person, but a massive aura.
Welcome to the Royal Report, everybody. I'm your host, Sharon Carpenter, and this is my lovable sidekick, Lady Breadloaf. How you doing, girl? She is doing fantastic right now. Back with us today is People's senior news editor, Erin Hill is with us.
Hi.
Great to see you.
You too.
Loads to talk about, but first, our top stories in the Royal Week in Review. On Friday, Prince Harry teamed up with rugby player Gareth Thomas to help promote National HIV Testing Week in the UK. During the event, Harry met with players from the Harlequins rugby team who gave him an adorable gift, a jersey for baby Archie, little Bubba. So cute. On Saturday, the Queen and other members of the royal family came together to attend the Festival of Remembrance service in London. The sombre event marked the first time in 4 months that we've seen William, Kate, Harry and Meghan all together in one place. The following day, most of the royal family attended the National Service of Remembrance to honour those who lost their lives in war. The solemn ceremony included a national 2 minutes of silence, as well as Charles, William, Harry and others laying wreaths of poppies at the Cenotaph War Memorial. On Monday, Queen Elizabeth was spotted enjoying a horseback ride on the grounds of Windsor Castle. I love this. The 93-year-old monarch continues to show us that age really is just a number. So inspirational. On Tuesday, William and Kate attended a special celebratory event for volunteers of a tech support service called Shout. Since launching in May, volunteers have already exchanged 6 million texts with people in crisis. Amazing work they're doing over there. On Wednesday, Prince William was back at it, opening a new facility for the homelessness charity Centrepoint. The organisation, which is celebrating their 50th anniversary this year, was also extremely important to Princess Diana. Also on Wednesday, People's Sexiest Man Alive issue was released. Lofi's happy about this one, aren't you? Can you guess who was voted sexiest new dad? None other than Prince Harry, of course, and no argument here from either of us. We learned yesterday that Harry and Meghan will be skipping the annual Christmas festivities at Sandringham, which is in Norfolk, of course, and instead focusing on spending the holiday together with baby Archie and Meghan's mum. And finally today, the Prince of Wales is 71 years young. He's actually spending his birthday in India and received a cake from school children in Mumbai. Charles, happy birthday from everyone here at the Royal Report. Now, Erin, Remembrance Day, very much like Veterans Day here in the US, but it's really a jam-packed weekend of tributes, isn't it? The royals out and about, very busy during this time. And I want to show a quick moment from part of Sunday's ceremony in London, and then we'll chat. Obviously a very solemn occasion, but great to see the royal family get together for this. What does that say about the significance of Remembrance Day and the events surrounding it?
Yeah, it's clear this is a really important event, not only for the royal family in the UK, but the rest of the Commonwealth, because this really does really commemorate those who have lost their lives in world wars all over the Commonwealth. So to see them come together, and we're really seeing the pomp and protocol in full force, and it's rare we have these occasions throughout the year.
Yeah. We saw the Queen along with Camilla and Kate watching from a balcony. However, Meghan was on a completely separate balcony. Why? What's going on here?
Yeah, so there was no slight here. This was actually the case last year as well. And you can really only fit a few people on these balconies to begin with. But it's important to remember, within the royal family, there is a hierarchy, there is a pecking order. So we have the Queen, the next tier down is Camilla, and then of course Kate, future queen. So they're all grouped together. These are all future queens, along with the monarch. And then we've got Meghan in a nearby balcony.
Yeah.
Also a VIP balcony, we've got Sophie, Countess of Wessex, who is the Queen's daughter-in-law, married to Prince Edward,
Yep.
and then Princess Anne's husband, Sir Timothy Lawrence. So
no
important balcony as
scandal
well.
there. And
Definitely not.
these excuses, a lot of people have been saying, oh, there wasn't enough room on the balcony. It's like, there's plenty of room. So this makes complete sense.
They are small balconies, but if it was a larger one, I'm sure they'd all be on there. But you have to really keep in mind the hierarchy there. So of course they'd be grouped together.
Now, it's been tradition for the Queen to lay a wreath during this service every year. She's passed it on now to Charles. Tell us why, for the past couple of years as
Yeah,
well.
she has. And this is all part of her starting to hand down some of these roles to Charles, who will be the future king. She's done this in other ways as well, and giving some of the other senior royal members some of her patronages. So this is all part of her kind of slowing down, winding down, and handing over a lot of these important roles to other members.
Makes complete sense. Now, on Tuesday, William and Kate stepped out to attend an event for the mental health support service, Shout, which they launched in May with Meghan and Harry. We saw Will speak passionately about the work they're doing. Here's the clip.
It's been an amazing journey, and Catherine and I know I speak for Harry and Meghan as well, couldn't be more proud of what Shout has accomplished. We still have an enormous challenge ahead of us. The Heads Together campaign chipped away at the stigma of mental health, but it was very important for us that we felt there was tangible support for the mental health community, and Shout is exactly that.
As Will mentioned, this is a cause close to his heart, Kate's as well, but Meghan and Harry as well, a little shout out there from Will. What does this say about this particular cause and about the 4 young royals, that this cause, they're so passionate about it?
This is something they all launched together months ago, and since that time, we have seen them split. Meghan and Harry are now launching their own separate foundation, but it just goes to show there are some initiatives that are really just all passionate for all of them, for the whole royal family, and mental health is certainly one of those.
And they'll still get together for those.
So there is a unity there. They're still united under a lot of these causes, and that's an important one.
Now, I love that Will has actually said he wants to be trained as a crisis counselor. Are we going to see that happen?
I mean, can you imagine him on the other end?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, he said he's wanting to train as a crisis counselor. He's just looking into his schedule to see when he'll have time, and he's very sincere about it. And he has a lot of knowledge as a former air ambulance pilot. He's used to being in, these sort of situations of emergency and trauma and handling it really well.
I love that he wants to get so involved.
Yeah.
Erin, now let's talk about my favorite pick of the week. It put a big smile on my face. It really made my week. The Queen on horseback at 93 years old. Who knew she still actually rides?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen her on horseback for about maybe a year, a little longer. So to see her right now was incredible. I mean, it takes a lot of balance and strength and stamina for anyone to be on a horse, but let alone 93-year-old monarch. And yeah, it's so great.
Yeah, a lot of people are nervous about horse riding as well, who've been riding for many years, but she's on there looking extremely comfortable.
She is a lifelong horse lover. She got her first pony at age 4, and it's just stuck with her throughout life.
The Shetland pony at age 4. Yeah, we all know she loves horses. She hasn't missed a day of Ascot. And in 2013, the BBC actually produced a documentary called The Queen, A Passion for Horses. Let's see a clip.
The young Princess Elizabeth was given her first pony, called Peggy, as a 4th birthday present from her grandfather, George V. This is rarely seen private royal footage. The 6-year-old princess confidently riding Peggy.
How cool is it to see this side of the Queen?
Yeah, we usually don't see this personal side of her hobbies and passions. So to see her out there and knowing she's really, truly enjoying this, because, we're used to seeing her doing her duties as monarch out there at the events.
Quite serious.
Exactly. But you know that she's on that horse loving every second of it.
Enjoying it. Yeah, I love horses too, so I can relate. Now, before you go, we have to talk about an announcement that broke yesterday. Meghan and Harry, they're saying they're not going to be at Sandringham this Christmas with the rest of the royals. They're going to spend it as an intimate gathering with Archie and Meghan's mum.
Yes.
Doria is going to be there as well. What's going on here?
Yeah, so it may have seemed a little bit as a surprise announcement at first, given that they spent the past 2 Christmases with the Queen and the rest of the royals in Sandringham. But when you think about it, this is something that all families face, you know, splitting the holidays between in-laws and your family. And so this is them balancing this out, and it makes sense. Meghan has been unable to spend the past 2 holidays with her mom, Doria, so now her first as a mom herself. It makes perfect sense why she'd want to kind of have this time away from the royal spotlight with her mom, with Archie, with Harry, and they'll do something a little more private and intimate.
And Kate and Will have done this before as well, 2016, 2014,
they
2012 as well, spending the Christmas with Kate's side of the family.
They're also able to balance, and it's worth noting the Queen gave her full blessing for this. You know, she knows about this, she's fine about this, she signed off on it.
Gotta have the Queen's blessing.
Exactly, but yes, Kate and William have done this. They've spent Christmases with the Middletons in Kate's childhood home of Bucklebury, and this gives the kids a chance to really experience more traditions, more family Christmas traditions. And Carol Middleton, who is Kate's mom, has said she likes to put little trees in each of the kids' rooms. So all these fun little experiences they get to have with both families.
Love that. Well, Erin, I know you need to get back to the newsroom, but thank you so much for giving us the inside scoop on all these big stories this week. We appreciate it. Okay, we need to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll be breaking down all the latest in royal fashion. Can't wait. Welcome back to the Royal Report. Joining me now is People Senior Style Editor, Brittany Talarico. You know this phase. How are you doing, Brittany?
Hello, great. How are you? Happy to be here.
Great to see you, and
too.
Lots to chat about.
Lots of style,
for sure.
yes.
Lots of style. But before we go in depth, let's have a quick recap of this fabulous week in royal fashion. On Thursday, Kate stepped out for the launch of the National Emergencies Trust in a belted blue dress by Amelia Wickstead, one of her favorite designers. The look retails for around $1,800. Totally slayed that. Meghan was also out on Thursday for the Field of Remembrance service at Westminster Abbey. She wore a midnight wrap coat from her go-to brand, Centilla. That will cost you $1,795. On Saturday, Kate attended the Royal Festival of Remembrance at the Royal Albert Hall. The designer of her elegant boat neck dress is unknown, sadly, but we do know that she accessorized the look with a $30 headband from Zara. Pretty cool. Meghan was also at the same event wearing a bespoke black jacquard belted midi dress by Erdem, rocking her locks in a low bun and looking fabulous. On Sunday, Kate attended a special Remembrance Day service at the Cenotaph War Memorial. She stunned in a military-style bespoke Catherine Walker coat featuring structured shoulders. I like a little structure too. Meghan was also there and equally shined in a black belted coat by Stella McCartney that retails for almost $2,000, and the stylish hat is by Stephen Jones. And finally, Kate was out again on Tuesday for the Shout Crisis Volunteer Celebration event. She sported a plaid 2-button blazer by Smith, which sells for $795, and cropped burgundy trousers from Joseph. So many great looks this week, right, Brittany?
So much royal style. Both Meghan and Kate out, and we're seeing them in a lot of luxe looks too.
Definitely. Let's talk about the bold blue that Kate wore to the National Emergencies Trust event. Loved it. It was belted. The blowout was glam.
Yeah, she looked amazing. I love the silhouette on her. It's Amelia Wickstead, a designer that she loves and knows very well and often works with. And it just fits her. She looks so comfortable. It's that regal blue color. It's belted at the perfect part of her waist. She paired it with a pair of patent leather pumps, which I liked, kind of seeing that like shiny patent leather. Some Jimmy Choo pumps, about $850. They're pretty pricey. But the whole look, she looked confident and comfortable and regal in that blue.
Really did.
She really did.
And let's talk about the earrings that matched perfectly with her engagement ring.
They matched perfectly. Such a special accessory. These earrings are actually from Princess Diana's collection.
Wow.
As we know, the engagement ring was Princess Diana's, so they were just beautiful and they matched the dress well. And she even made them her own. She turned them from 2 stones, they were 2 drops, into 1.
So she sort of modernized
the look, and you know, she was still kind of honoring Princess Diana there, but she modernized it. It was a great accessory. And as everything that Kate wears, she really thinks about, and it shows like those special touches that she puts into these pieces.
Yeah, no, it really does. This was a rewear of sorts, wasn't it?
It was. You know, she has this dress in 3 other colors.
Who wouldn't? It's a gorgeous dress.
It's a gorgeous dress. We always say if you find something you like, buy it in 3 colors, right? She's just like us. She wants to, you know, she loves the silhouette. She feels comfortable. She's a busy mom. She can just grab it from her closet, throw it on, like knows that this works for her. And I think there's something very seamless about that too. She has these pieces and she invests in them because she knows she's going to get a lot of wear out of them.
Yeah, and it's still different enough with the different
Definitely different colors, and I just love seeing her in color.
Let's talk. Oh, I do too. I do too. Let's talk Meghan out and about during Remembrance Day and the days leading up to it. So many fabulous outfits, each a showstopper in its own right. Which was your favorite?
My favorite was definitely that Centler coat moment, that belted coat moment that we saw her wear.
It's so warm.
It looked so warm, and I love that it was navy and she mixed it with black accessories. This was a very luxe, expensive look. She loves coats from Centler. That coat is almost $1,800.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's up there, sure, with gorgeous Tamara Mellon boots, great like leather boots, and she, instead of wearing the sash with the coat, she actually brought in something from her closet and wore a belt. She belted it herself.
I saw that. It was a leather black belt that she wore with the navy.
Yep, a leather embroidered black Prada belt, $1,700 belt. She belted the coat. It kind of she put her own flair on the look. It's a great styling hack, I think. You know, if you want to like wear a coat 2 different ways, you can take off the belt it comes with, throw a belt on from your closet. I kind of like seeing those little touches that Meghan's very involved in her wardrobe, and she knows, you know, what she likes.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Now let's talk price, because this was a sort of a pricier outfit than we've been seeing Meghan in lately. Why?
I think, you know, she is buying these investment pieces, and she knows kind of the stuff that she likes, and she wears her stuff so much. So you have to understand, even if she's spending a lot of money, there's going to be a rewear. We know we're going to see her like wear these pieces again. And also she loves the silhouette. She feels comfortable in these silhouettes. She's a new mom. It flatters her. I think she kind of is just, you know, this just makes her feel confident and comfortable right now.
We need to look for less on the coat next time, because I need that coat in my life.
Yeah, me too.
I really do.
I'm with you, for sure.
Now, we talked a little bit about Meghan's belt and this outfit, but she loves belts just in general. I like a belt moment too. Why is she such a belt lover, do you think?
I think she loves that cinched waist. She loves the silhouette that it gives.
Very feminine.
Very feminine, very flattering. She's a new mom. She just had a baby. So I think she's just kind of feeling and wearing what's comfortable for her right now.
Brings it in a little bit.
And it looks polished.
Yeah.
I think she always looks like polished. It adds that kind of polish to any look. When you cinch, you feel very put together.
So the boys have to have some fun as well, and Will has been having some fashion fun. That green blazer at the 50th anniversary of Centerpoint.
Yes, he's not a regular dad, he's a cool dad.
He's a cool dad,
That's what it showed to me. It was very Hollywood. This is like Hollywood Will stepping out in this like great kind of holiday forest green colored blazer, almost like an emerald
on trend as well.
Very on trend. I feel like he could have been at the Oscars. It was like a little bit like thrown back, but I think, you know, he's having fun with fashion lately, and he's like leaning in and experimenting. You know, we saw him on his tour in Pakistan with the sherwani and that kind of same green color, and he was, you know, honoring the culture there, and he stepped out of his comfort zone, wasn't wearing a suit. Now he's wearing velvet gem tone blazers. I don't know what's next. I don't know what's next, but I love it. I love that he's having fun. You know, he was out solo last night at an event that was important to him, and he looked amazing.
Why do you think Will is stepping up his fashion game right now?
I think, you know, he's the next generation of royals, and he's kind of taking center stage, and he's having fun, and he's you know, showing that he can dress how he wants, and he still, you know, can do his royal duties. I think it's great.
All right. Well, Brittany, always great chatting style with you, and we'll see you again really soon.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. All right, now it's time for London Calling. This week, People's London correspondent Monique Jesson takes an inside look at one of Princess Diana and Kate Middleton's favourite labels. So excited for this one. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Monique Jesson, and today I'm calling from London's Chelsea. I'm here at Catherine Walker & Co., which is the boutique frequented often by Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, and before her for many years, Princess Diana. So let's go inside and take a look at some of these beautiful couture dresses. I'm here with Syed Cyrus, Head of Design at Catherine Walker & Co. at his beautiful showroom in Chelsea.
My wife and I started this company in 1977, and so we've been here for 42 years, exactly the same place and doing exactly the same thing. My wife's no longer with us, and I've been carrying on the company since 2010.
Over the years, you've worked with Princess Diana, I think, for 16, 17 years, and now obviously the Duchess of Cambridge. What is it about your pieces that you think these women feel so comfortable wearing your designs again and again?
When clients come to see us, they are interested in something which we call occasion wear, and that is what we do. And the occasion wear that we have has a signature look, which a lot of women find very empowering and also makes them stand very tall and proud. One thing we learnt, my wife and I, from a very early time, was that people in the public eye are photographed from every angle. And a piece like this looks great from the front, but it also has all the detail that you have on the front and the back as well. So it's very, very good from every angle. One of the things we do a lot in this house is tailoring, and we use men's tailors to make women's clothes. For example, this piece over here has a shoulder pad, armhole, and the entire construction, including the canvas and the parts that are inside, exactly the same as the jacket that I'm wearing. This is a lady's dress. It has beautiful feminine details, but the construction is entirely men's tailoring.
So, Syed, talk us through these beautiful dresses. Is it all part of your Autumn-Winter 19 collection?
This piece here is silk velvet evening dress, full length, as you can see. The interesting thing about this is that the whole of the lower part of the dress is laser cut so that it looks like it's actually lace, which it isn't. It just makes these beautiful shapes by cutting out the velvet in that way. This dress over here is a lace, black lace from the north of France, near Calais. And the reason we chose it is because it has a motif on it, which is butterfly wings. And as you may know, the symbol of the company is butterflies. It also has this very beautiful embroidered edge, which we've hand embellished over the existing lace. A lot of the work that we do, and for which we're known, is to do with embroidery. This is a collaboration which we held with the Royal School of Needlework at the Hampton Court Palace. Two very, very talented students were chosen to work on this piece. Each one of these beads is sewn on individually by hand and creates this exquisite piece of embroidery.
Syed, your hats are so gorgeous and very much loved by Sophie, Lady Frederick Windsor, who's worn your designs on several occasions. Tell me a little bit about how this works with the couture line of clothing.
Well, obviously we're very happy to help our clients to find hats that harmonise with our garments, and I think one of the ways we can do that is by actually designing the hats in-house to go with the garments in each collection. It's been very well received because it saves our clients a lot of trouble to be able to have everything done by one designer without them having to make several trips to other places in London.
Thank you so much, Syed, for showing us your beautiful world of couture. This is Monique Jessen, and this is London Calling.
It's a pleasure.
Wow, those designs are jaw-dropping. We have to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be previewing the new season of The Crown. Can't wait. Welcome back to the Royal Report. Now, as everyone knows, this Sunday, The Crown Season 3 will be released on Netflix. We are so excited to introduce our new segment, Breaking Down The Crown. Okay, joining us from Los Angeles is Entertainment Weekly senior writer Collis is here. Clark, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. Now, Clark, you actually wrote the Crown cover story for the September issue of EW. Now, let's talk about Season 3 as a brand new cast. Who's playing whom and which newcomers are you most excited about?
Well, as you said, it's a brand new cast. You've got Olivia Colman playing Queen Elizabeth II, which was the role previously taken by by Claire Foy, for which she won an Emmy. You've got Tobias Menzies from Outlander, amongst other shows, playing Prince Philip. You've got Helena Bonham Carter playing the role of Princess Margaret, who's the Queen's sister. And you've got Ben Daniels playing Lord Snowdon, who is Princess Margaret's husband.
Amazing
Or
lineup.
rather becomes Princess Margaret's husband. Yeah.
Yeah, incredible lineup.
It is. It's absolutely, yeah. I mean, as we said, it's like the royal family of British actors playing the actual royal family.
Yeah, and season 3 is set in the 60s and 70s. Can't wait to see what's in store for Elizabeth and Philip. What can you tell us about their new plot lines?
Well, it's interesting because in the first 2 seasons, it was very much about the friction within Elizabeth and Philip's marriage. And I guess you could say Philip's sort of slightly wandering eye, to put it politely. In season 3, I think it's fair to say that their relationship has kind of settled down a little bit. There is a show where Philip sort of has a midlife crisis because of the moon landing, and Elizabeth is off on her own in quite a few episodes. But really, as far as that generation, the most sort of exciting interpersonal part happens between Helena Bonham Carter and Helena Bonham Carter's Princess Margaret and Ben Daniels' Lord Snowdon. That's the sort of very tempestuous relationship, almost like Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, is how they described it to me when I visited the set.
Yeah, well, tell us about, you mentioned a second ago that Prince Philip had sort of a midlife crisis, and it was related to the moon landing. How?
Yeah. Well, I think it's. I mean, as fans of the show will know, Prince Philip, sort of the character of Prince Philip on the show, sees himself very much as a man of action, but essentially has wound up being, the man who's kind of one step behind the Queen. And I think the moon landing kind of, although it has nothing really to do with the royal family, sort of makes him, think that maybe he should have done something, consider what his life would have been like had he not been, essentially the Queen's consort.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to Princess Margaret and Lord Snowdon. As you mentioned, a fairly tumultuous relationship there. We're going to be getting a heavy dose of that this season.
Yes, absolutely. And they're terrific. Helena Bonham Carter is marvelous. Ben Daniels, who people, I think, he's been on various shows, including The Exorcist most recently. He's terrific. And funnily enough, Helena Bonham Carter actually knew Princess Margaret, or had met her a few times. And I said, what was that like? And she said that she had quite a sharp tongue, I guess. And Helena Bonham Carter said that one time, she turned up at Windsor Castle and Princess Margaret must have seen something that Helena Bonham Carter was in, which she liked. And she said, oh, Helena, I see you've got a lot better.
That was her form of a compliment.
I guess so. That's what passes for compliments in the royal family.
How did that meeting come about?
Well, to be honest, Helena Bonham Carter is pretty aristocratic. So I could be wrong, but I think her great-grandfather was actually prime minister. So I think she just, as a young person, and probably still now, sort of moved in those, royal adjacent circles, basically.
She's got those connections.
But then, I mean, I actually asked every member of the cast, had they met a member of the royal family, and of course, I mean, like, some people who are actors in Britain are kind of posh, and some are not so much. But Olivia Colman is definitely not. I mean, she's not aristocratic. She just acts an aristocrat very, very well. But she was saying that one time she was at like some film charity event where the Queen was there. And she saw a line, and she just joined the line thinking that it was for the buffet. Yeah. And then to her horror, at the last second, realized that it was actually to meet the Queen. And so she said she met her pretty sort of sweaty-handed, basically.
Did they have any interaction in terms of words?
I think it was just, she was just told just to say, hello, or, Your Majesty, and then to move on.
Keep it moving. Okay, interesting one. All right, now Prince Charles gets a bigger role this season. What can we expect to see?
Yes. Well, that again is very interesting. The first half of the season, I mean, in season 2, Prince Charles and Princess Anne were children. They didn't really feature very, all that heavily in the show. This time around, yeah, they're much more in the show. Certainly in the second half of the season, and Prince Charles is, sort of trying to adjust to a life as a member of the royal family. And then very early on, I mean, earlier than most people would think, he begins this relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, who, of course, he would ultimately marry many years later. And many people would say that she was the sort of interloper in the marriage between Charles and Diana. But when I spoke to Peter Morgan, who's the creator and the writer of the show, he said he was keen to remind people that actually the relationship between Prince Charles and Camilla kind of, predates by a decade or so that between Diana and Charles.
Yeah, a lot of people do forget that. Clark, thank you so much for joining us. Hope to have you on again very soon.
My pleasure.
Okay, it's time for a quick break. But when we come back, we'll be speaking with a singer who once performed for Princess Diana. Can't wait for that. Welcome back to the Royal Report. Now, earlier this week, I sat down with musician Maxi for a brand new segment we call Close Encounters of the Royal Kind. Take a look. Hi, I'm here with Grammy-nominated London-born reggae artist Maxi, a real legend.
What's
so
up?
Good to see you.
What's up? It's good to be here.
A lot of people are super excited. You have a new project out, a new album. It all comes back to love, doesn't it? Now, Maxi, as you know, this segment today is all about royal run-ins.
Yes.
And you've been lucky enough to have the honor of meeting not one, but two royals, years apart. Let's start with your first encounter, Prince Charles. Tell us everything.
Wow, Prince Charles. I met Prince Charles when I was probably about 15, somewhere around there, at a youth centre called Moonshot in southeast London, New Cross. As we were approaching, we were just talking about, what's Charles really gonna do for us? What's this really all about? And will we even get a chance to kind of get close to him or anything like that? Because there was a pretty large crowd.
You made your way through, okay?
We made our way through, and just me being me, I'm going up front and I'm going to meet this man. He's not gonna come all the way down here and me not meet him.
So describe that moment when you met Prince Charles. Were you nervous going over there, shaking his hand? Did you say anything to him?
It wasn't the fact that I was nervous. Young kid, radical, it don't even really cross my mind about being nervous at that time. It was more like, I just wanted to feel this person, and I felt like if I shook his hand, then I would somewhat feel a vibration of this person, because that's me. I'm a street kid. I can read your vibe, if you're somewhat connected to this or not.
And you felt the vibration, was it there?
Yeah, I felt like he was genuinely down there and wanted to embrace and understand the situations that we were going through. And I felt like he genuinely wanted to come and show us on the streets that he was with us.
So fast forward a few years, you're now an international music star, and you get asked to perform in front of Princess Diana, of all people.
Yeah.
Talk us through that experience.
I did a US tour, an extensive tour, and it was towards the end of the tour, but we had known that we were going to do this show for Lady Diana.
In New York City.
In Manhattan, and the stage was very low, so, the band's there and I'm performing, and then she's literally there.
She's watching your performance. What was going through your mind as you're performing there for her?
Well, you're trying to perform for everybody else, but then you kind of know she's here.
Yeah.
So you kind of perform, you perform, you perform. Yeah. You perform, you perform, you perform. Yeah. So you kind of go back to Lady Diana, and then, she looks up at you and she kind of gives you a smile, and you kind of style it out, you know.
Feeling real good up there, yeah. What was Diana doing while you were performing on stage? Was she moving to the
rapped.
music? Because she did.
She
Okay.
rapped, you know, she rapped.
She had a
done
few
a little
moves.
thing, you
All
know.
right.
She was getting in the
She was
groove.
getting down.
Yeah, you know.
So when you met her afterwards and she approached you to say hi, obviously impressed with your performance, what was she like? I think in the videos that we've seen over the years, you know, you sort of see this warmth just radiating. Was she really like that?
Big time, but shy at the same time. I didn't feel intimidated. I almost felt like I had the upper hand. She's a very soft person, but a massive aura. You know, this just radiation from her. You know, you just kind of felt like you're in some real good spirit here, you know.
So your royal run-ins have had a lasting impact
Oh,
in your
big
life.
time, big time, big time. I mean, really for me, Charles really has made the biggest impact on me from the royal family, and I would say that he's probably my favorite.
He's your favorite royal.
Yeah.
And because you were so young at the time as well.
Yes, and it's been a lasting impact from then till now, and I take that everywhere I go. Everywhere I go with me.
Maxi was so cool. I loved hearing about Diana dancing to reggae music. My kind of gal right there. Please check out Maxi's new album, It All Comes Back to Love. And speaking of love, it's time for a segment I surely love, the Social Media Minute.
Hi Sharon, it's been another week full of exciting posts. Cue the clock and let's go. On Thursday, Meghan and Harry surprised military families near their home in Windsor and posted footage of their visit on the Sussex Royal page. November is all about honoring military causes for the couple, and this event drew attention to the families of service personnel who are currently deployed. Next time, bring Archie. On Sunday, Princess Eugenie marked Remembrance Day by posting a handwritten note to her Instagram. The letter was adorned with poppies, which is, of course, the symbol of remembrance for World War I and veterans. Such a touching way to acknowledge the special day. This past Monday, the Sussex Royal page honored both Remembrance Day in the UK and Veterans Day here in the US by posting photos of Meghan's involvement with the USO before she became a Duchess. Back in 2014, Meghan went on a USO tour and visited troops in 5 countries. Awesome to see Meghan highlighting her American roots with these photos. And finally, on Tuesday, William and Kate shared some behind-the-scenes footage of their time at the Shout celebration on the Kensington Royal Insta story. The Fab Four started the organization last year, and I love that this cause is getting continued attention from the future King and Queen. That's your Social Media Minute for this week. Back to you, Sharon.
Thanks, Gillian. That was more stellar work from our social media correspondent, Gillian Fleischman. We have to take another break, but when we return, we'll have another edition of the Diana Diaries. Welcome back to the show. Now, as you know, we've recently enjoyed 2 amazing royal tours, Harry and Meghan in Africa and Will and Kate in Pakistan. So with that in mind, we thought it would be fun to look back at Princess Diana's first time setting foot here in the States. Here's our latest installment of the Diana Diaries.
The moment they saw her, the crowds began to cheer. Prince Charles had been here before, but this was her first visit.
In November 1985, Diana and Charles arrived in Washington, D.C. for a 3-day official visit.
It is really amazing to look back at the year 1985 when Diana is making her first trip to the United States and how thrilling it was for Americans.
Over 5,000 people greeted them at Andrews Air Force Base and just couldn't wait for this whirlwind trip.
They took America by storm. They hit a lot of the top sightseeing spots, including the National Cathedral, the National Gallery, Arlington National Cemetery, and they even visited a mall where they stopped by a JCPenney.
But the most anticipated event was the gala dinner thrown by President Reagan and First Lady Nancy Reagan. This was truly a historic event.
On November 11th, the royal couple attended a state dinner at the White House. The star-studded guest list included Gloria Vanderbilt, Estee Lauder, Mikhail Baryshnikov, Tom Selleck, Clint Eastwood, and John Travolta.
This was a political event, but it was also really a celebrity event. This was Hollywood meets royalty meets Washington, and Diana just blended in. She was as beautiful and as glamorous and as composed as all of the celebrities.
The 24-year-old princess wore an off-the-shoulder midnight blue velvet gown designed by Victor Edelstein, along with a pair of long dark blue suede gloves and a pearl choker with a sapphire clasp.
Surprisingly, it wasn't a custom dress like many of those that Victor Edelstein made for her. In fact, this one was straight from his collection, and she bought it herself right from the collection.
This look was the perfect mix of Hollywood glamour and royalty. She paired it perfectly. She looked like a celebrity and a princess all rolled into one.
For many, the highlight of the evening was Diana's dance with John Travolta. The 31-year-old actor was well known for his fancy footwork in the films Saturday Night Fever, Grease, and Staying Alive.
They ended up dancing to the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack for 15 minutes. It was an amazing moment.
There is no video of her iconic dance with John Travolta at the White House. And it's such a shame because, of course, everyone who was there later said it was pure magic on the dance floor. But at that time, no one had camera phones. So unfortunately, there's just the single stunning, iconic photo.
The following day, while attending the opening of a British Treasures exhibit at the National Gallery, Diana was still smiling about that dance.
I think you enjoyed it, didn't you, Erin? It'd be an idiot if she didn't enjoy dancing with John Travolta, wouldn't she?
Diana loved that night, and she loved that dress. She wore it actually 3 more times, including for her last portrait in 1997, not long before she died.
Before her death, Diana requested the dress be sold at a charity auction. In 1997, the Edelstein gown sold for more than $200,000. And 16 years later, in 2013, it was auctioned again, this time fetching $360,000.
There's no question that this dress holds a place in fashion history because of the dance with John Travolta.
Wow, I love that Travolta dress so much. When we come back, we are taking a special look back at the birth of Prince Charles. Welcome back, everyone. Now, as we mentioned earlier, today is Prince Charles's birthday, which we're celebrating with This Week in Royal History.
On Saturday, the eminent gynecologist Sir William Gilliot was called to the palace for the most responsible case in even his career.
On November 14th, 1948, thousands gathered outside Buckingham Palace, eagerly awaiting the birth of Princess Elizabeth's first child.
The whole country knew that the baby would soon be born. All day on Sunday, people waited outside the palace, including phlegmatic pressmen with whom it is a point of honor to show no excitement.
After 10 p.m., the news finally broke. The 22-year-old future queen had given birth to Prince Charles Philip Arthur George after 30 hours of labor.
It has been announced officially from Buckingham Palace during the past hour that Her Royal Highness the Princess Elizabeth, Duchess of Edinburgh, was safely delivered of a prince at 9:14 p.m. today.
Her Royal Highness is the proud and happy mother of a prince, and in the monarch's home lies the infant boy who will one day be king.
All right, that's all the time we have. I want to thank my furry friend, Lady Breadloaf here, for helping me break down what's been another great week for Royal Watchers. She is exhausted after all that. You can check her out at Breadloaf Corgi on Insta. And remember, follow People on Twitter to watch the newest episode of The Royal Report, streaming every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm Sharon Carpenter. Ta-ta, till next time.